Is that better for y'all? Okay, great. Perfect. Good. Well, welcome to the show. Hello. Thank you for coming. So for anybody who does not know me, my name is Michael Goodwin. I have been singing professionally pretty much my entire life. My first professional show was when I was 10 years old, and I have been singing professionally in different shows or programs or whatever. I used to sing on cruise ships. I've kind of sung all around the world. I went to school for opera. What I really love and specialize in is Broadway musical theater, and today is going to be great because we are doing the very first program. When I started this business 7.5 years ago, this is the first program I made, which is my Golden Age of Musical Theater, Part 1 of 4. And you all haven't seen any of them, because what we've done is we did like my Andrew Lloyd Webber program, we did, I think we did a St. Patrick's Day program, we've done my Les Mis program, so we never have actually done my standard programs. So I do want to make sure that the screen comes back on. I don't know exactly what happened. So if you've never seen any of my programs before, this is how they're set up. So I sing, obviously. I lecture a little bit, I tell stories. I've done a lot of these shows myself. And the words are always on the screen. So if you want to sing along, I love it when people join in. Do not feel compelled, but if singing brings you joy, please feel free to sing with me. I love it. So the shows are a mixture of clips and singing, and I do like some maybe dance numbers, that type of thing. Some of the stuff that I myself cannot recreate properly, I like to show little clips and stuff. So we are going to start with their very first, Rodgers and Hammerstein very first show that they did together, Oklahoma, which really was the show that ushered in the Golden Age. Now, it was the first musical they did as a team, though of course the two of them had worked Hello. Oh, all right, I'll share the stage with a dog.
Hello, little cutie.
Hi, lady. They say never share a stage with a child or a dog. Hey, Mama.
That's Lucy.
Hi, Lucy. What are you doing? Oh, I love being a dog. All right, so Richard Rodgers and Hart. So they had worked together many years before, and then you had Hammerstein had worked before with Jerome Kern, and think of like Showboat, right? That really was their kind of masterpiece that they did together. But Hammerstein had not been having a lot of luck. He'd been having some trouble with working with Kern because Kern was a bit of an alcoholic, so their relationship was kind of on the rocks a little bit. The two of them, Rodgers and Hammerstein, had actually known each other in passing as friends for several years, but had never actually collaborated, and finally decided to when they wanted to turn Green Grow the Lilacs, a play by Lynn Riggs, which, if you've never seen it or read it, has a lot of music in it, actually, already. So it sort of lent itself to the idea of a musical. Hammerstein had written 6 flops in succession, so there was not a lot of hope for the show, but it did end up ushering in the Golden Age. So Brooks Atkinson wrote in the New York Times when the show opened, so you got to picture the way that shows used to be, okay? So you would have a big orchestral number like the intro, then you'd have a big chorus number, then maybe a little bit of business, then perhaps a dance, then maybe a song that might be related to the story, but not necessarily. Sometimes it was just kind of put in because this would be a good spot for a song. So Brooks Atkinson wrote in the New York Times that opening number, "Oh, what a beautiful morning." After a verse like that, he wrote, After a verse like that, he wrote, "Sung to a buoyant melody, the banalities of the old musical stage became intolerable." Okay, that might have been a little dramatic. But what he meant was these shows, you had Curly singing on stage alone with almost no accompaniment at all. And that's how they started the show. No show had ever started like that before. And the audience knew they were in for something special. Think of today like Hamilton, right? The show Hamilton that just really turned the concept of what you could do on stage on its ear. That is what Oklahoma did back in 1943. All right, so here we go.
a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. Sing if you wanna. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the cattle are standing like statues. All the cattle are standing like statues. They don't turn their heads when they see me ride by. But a little brown maverick is winking her eye. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. This one's a little quiet and gentle. All the sounds of the earth are like music. All the sounds of the earth are like music. The breeze is so busy it don't miss a tree. And an old weeping willow is laughing at me. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Hey, oh, what a beautiful day. Great little song. Thank you. All right, so the show, the original title was Away We Go, and as I said, expectations were low. Hammerstein had written 6 flops in succession. He and Rogers were a new duo, but they were confident that they were really on to something. Now, the New Haven and Boston audiences, they liked the shows. There were maybe some mixed reviews, but the critics, still, there were some definite holdouts, so they had to make some changes. But before we get to the changes, we're going to take a little ride on a Surrey with some fringe on top. When I take you out tonight with me, honey, here's the way it's gonna be. You will sit behind a team of snow-white horses in the slickest gig you've ever seen. Chicks and ducks and geese better scurry when I take you out in a Surrey. When I take you out in the Surrey with the fringe on top. Watch that fringe and see how it flutters when I drive them high-stepping strutters. Nosy pokes will peer through their shutters and their eyes will pop. The wheels are yeller, the upholstery's brown, the dashboard's genuine leather. With isinglass curtains you can roll right down in case there's a change in the weather. 2 bright side lights winking and blinking, ain't no finer rig I'm a-thinking. You can keep your rig if you're thinking that I'd care to swap for that shiny little Surrey with the fringe on the top. The ladies ask, would you say the fringe is made of silk? Curly answers, wouldn't have no other kind but silk. Has it really got a team of snow white horses? One's like snow, t'others more like milk, so you can tell them apart. All the world will fly in a flurry when I take you out in the Surrey, when I take you out in the Surrey with the fringe on top. When we hit that road, hell for leather, cats and dogs will dance in the heather, birds and frogs will sing all together, and the toads will hop. The wind will whistle as we rattle along, the cows will moo in the clover, the river will ripple out a whispered song and whisper it over and over. Don't you wish it go on forever? Don't you wish it go on forever? Don't you wish it go on forever and it never stop in that shiny little Surrey with the fringe on the top? I can see the stars getting blurry when we ride back home in the Surrey, riding slowly home in the Surrey with the fringe on top. I can feel the day getting older, feel a sleepy head near my shoulder, nodding, drooping close to my shoulder till it falls kerplop. The sun is swimming on the rim of a hill, the moon is taking a header, and just as I'm thinking all the earth is still, a lark will wake up in the meadow. Hush, you bird, my baby's a-sleepin', maybe got a dream worth a-keepin'. Whoa, you teen, and just keep a-creepin' at a slow clip, clop. Don't you hurry in the Surrey with the fringe on the top. Yeah, great. I love that little song. Thank you. All right, so we know about these changes that a lot of this work actually happened in the hotels where they were staying. For example, in New Haven, one of the places where I sing regularly, the front desk manager, she lives there. And so she told me how they used to discuss from across the lobby of the hotel yelling at each other because they couldn't agree on what to do. And the song, Oklahoma, many people know that that song was actually written at the Ladies' Lounge in the Colonial Hotel in Boston. Then they decided to change the name of the musical to Oklahoma to kind of catch the furor of A, a great song, and B, Oklahoma having transferred from a territory to a state which was still somewhat in the buzz, and so they thought they would catch up on some free publicity. They were very smart that way. All right, so changing the name of the show, it seemed to be that little magic piece. The show opened on Broadway, sold out performances. It was the first time a musical had ever had a problem with scalpers. It ran for an unprecedented 2,212 performances. Then 2 years later, they did a cast recording. It was the first Broadway cast recording ever made of any show. Now, in the following clip, this is from the movie, we're going to see Gordon McRae and Shirley Jones singing Oklahoma. Feel free to sing with them. The lyrics will be on the screen, so feel free to follow along.
They couldn't pick a better time to start in life.
It ain't too early and it ain't too late.
Starting as a farmer with a brand new wife.
Soon be living in a brand new state.
Brand new state of the creature grave.
Gonna give you barley, carrots, and potatoes. Pasture for the cattle, spinach and tomatoes.
Flowers on the prairie where the June bugs zoom. Plenty of air and plenty of room.
Plenty of room to swing a rope.
Plenty of
behind the lane. Oklahoma, every night my honey lamb and I sit alone and talk and watch a hawk
Making lazy circles in the sky. We know we belong to the land, and the land we belong to is grand. And when we say, "Hi-yi-bi-oh-wah-hey," we're only saying, "You're doing fine, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, okay." Oklahoma. Every night we sit alone, making lazy circles in the sky.
We know we belong to the land, and the land we belong to is grand.
Yippee-hi, 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 yippee-hi. Hi-yi-bi-oh-wah-hey. We're only saying, "You're doing fine, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, okay." Hi-yi-bi-oh-wah-hey. We're only saying, "You're doing fine, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, okay." L-A-H-O-M-A, Oklahoma. That's a good show. All right, so Annie Get Your Gun. Annie Get Your Gun, actually produced by Rodgers and Hammerstein, but we know it as, of course, Irving Berlin's Annie Get Your Gun. So 1946, you've got the lyrics and music by Irving Berlin, the book by Dorothy Fields and her brother Herbert Fields. So book, of course, is the overall story. It's kind of everything. It encompasses the lyrics, the dancing, everything that tells the story of the show. Now, Dorothy Fields had this idea for a musical about Annie Oakley, the sharpshooter, who starred in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show and had a very tumultuous affair with another sharpshooter named Frank Butler. The musical is a fictionalized version of her life, of course. Now, the movie that came out had Harold Keel and Betty Hutton, and the song, "I Can Do Anything Better Than You." I don't know why this song makes me laugh every time I see it, and I have probably at this point seen it 1,000 times. But there's something about it. I just love the way they play off each other.
Charlie, find some place where we can have ourselves a man.
Who? Me and old pot shot here.
Oh, love that. God, there ain't no loving a shoe woman. What a wife she'd make. Instead of filling the house, she'd be taking her gun. Instead of staying home sewing, she'd be out hitting targets.
Yeah, you get out and listen.
That's not right, sir. Start working. We're not working together.
Not now or ever.
Not a virtue.
I just did. And there's a range.
That bet sure had me fooled. For a minute I thought you was getting to be a lady. It's going to be a pleasure to give you a lesson in marksmanship.
You couldn't give me a lesson in long-distance spitting. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Anything you can be, I can be greater. Sooner or later, I'm greater than you.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I can shoot a partridge with a single cartridge.
I can get a sparrow with a bow and arrow.
I can live on bread and cheese.
And only on that.
Yes.
So can a rat.
Any note you can reach, I can go higher.
I can sing anything higher than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
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 No, you can't.
Anything you can buy, I can buy cheaper. I can buy anything cheaper than you.
50 cents.
40 cents.
30 cents.
20 cents. say.
You can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Anything you can say, I can say softer.
I can say anything softer than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
I can drink my liquor faster than a flicker.
I can drink it quicker and get even sicker.
I can open any safe.
Without getting caught?
Sure.
That's what I thought, you crook.
Any note you can hold, I can hold longer.
I can hold any note longer than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No,
Yes,
you
I...
Yes, you can.
Anything you can wear, I can wear better. In what you wear, I'd look better than you.
In my coat.
In your vest.
In my shoe.
In your hat.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Anything you can say, I can say faster.
I can say anything faster than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
I can.
Yes, I can.
I can.
Yes, I can.
I can.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
I can jump a hurdle.
I can wear a girdle.
I can knit a sweater.
I can fill it better.
I can do most anything.
Can you make a pie?
No.
Neither can I.
Any note you can sing, I can sing sweeter.
I can sing anything sweeter than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
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 No, you
Yeah, it's so good. I love it. All right, so Dorothy Fields had a good friend she wanted to star in the show, Ethel Merman. And Mike Todd, they actually went to first to produce it, but he turned it down. He was too busy. So they went to a new production team, Rodgers and Hammerstein, who thought Jerome Kern would be great to do the music. Fields would write the lyrics. She and her brother Herbert would write the book. Kern, who had been composing for movie musicals out in Hollywood, came back specifically to do this and then disappeared for 3 days. He went on a bender, which was one of the reasons, as I said, that he and Hammerstein had a bit of a problem. And then he had a cerebral hemorrhage in the middle of the street and nobody knew who he was. So he ended up in the hospital, kind of as an unknown, and then they discovered where he was and he died 9 days after getting back from New York. It's really very, very tragic. So then they had to go and find somebody else. And they approached Irving Berlin, who was really well known for loving his own kind of medleys. That was really what he loved. He'd never done music for a situation show like this before. But Hammerstein gave him the script. He was introduced to Ethel Merman, who he fell in love with. She basically became his muse. They loved each other for the rest of their careers. And he wrote, over the course of a week, stories vary, anywhere from 3 to 5 songs. But we're going to go with You Can't Get a Man with a Gun, There's No Business Like Show Business, and what's the last one? Doing What Comes Naturally. He wrote those in a week. Not too bad. So after that, they realized that the songs fit Ethel Merman's capabilities, they fit the story of the show, and he wrote the rest of the music for the show, which became quite a smashing success. Revivals and the revival with Bernadette Peters in 1999 did something interesting. So we'll talk about it in just 1 second. So, the song, There's No Business Like Show Business, almost did not make it into the show. So there's a biography of Rodgers and Hammerstein that came out maybe, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Fantastic. And one of the things they talked about was how this song almost didn't make it into the show because when Berlin played it for them initially, they both loved it. Then when he played it for them again, Rodgers was cold as ice about it. And it turns out that this was a very common thing with him. Another one of the people where I sing grew up with Mary Rodgers, Richard Rodgers' daughter. She had no memory of her father having ever hugged her in her entire life. Apparently, he was a very emotionally distant guy, very cold, which is amazing when you think about this gorgeous music that he wrote. So fortunately, they disregarded this response, kept the song in the show, and then the revival in '99 started with the song. setting up the entire show as a frame story, kind of like a show within a show, which made it a really fun it was a really, really smart thing to do, I think. So here is There's No Business Like Show Business. There's no business like show business, like no business I know. Everything about it is appealing, everything that traffic will allow. Nowhere can you get that happy feeling when you are stealing that extra bow. There's no people like show people, they smile when they are low. Even with a turkey that you know will fold, you may be stranded out in the cold. Still you wouldn't change it for a sack of gold. Let's go on with the show. The butcher, the baker, the grocer, the clerk are secretly unhappy men because the butcher, the baker, the grocer, the clerk get paid for what they do, but no applause. They gladly bid their dreary jobs goodbye for anything theatrical, and why? There's no business like show business, like no business I know. Traveling through the country will be thrilling, standing out in front on opening night, smiling as you watch the theater filling, and there's your billing out there in lights. There's no people like show people, they smile when they are low. Yesterday they told you you would not go far. That night you open and there you are. Next day on your dressing room they've hung a star. Let's go on with the show. Let's go on with the show. That's a good one. Classic Ethel. All right, Leonard Bernstein's Candide. Anybody familiar with this show? People know it, but they don't necessarily know the music that well, which is kind of interesting. So it's based on, it's actually an operetta based on the 1759 novella of the same name by Voltaire. So, you know, strange that it's still very pertinent today. The story involves an illegitimate man and the young woman that he falls in love with, who just happens to be born of nobility. Now, the operetta was first performed in 1956, and it kind of bombed. Quite frankly, it wasn't very popular, though the music has kept it alive in musical theater and even opera circles because the music itself is so good. Now, in 1989 in Glasgow, they staged a version of it, and Bernstein went to this and thought, oh, yeah, I do need to redo this show. So he actually reorchestrated a lot of the pieces, he changed some numbers, he reordered it quite a bit, and in 2006 recorded his definitive version. Now, in 2004, though, it was staged in New York, so he had mostly finished all of the changes that he was to make. And the love interest Cunegonde has one of the best songs in musical theater history, one of the most difficult. It's Glitter and Be Gay. Now, if sung as written throughout, there are 3 high E flats in the song, which, if you're not a music person, think of Phantom of the Opera. When she does, ah, that very high note at the end, 3 of those. That's basically what this song requires. Pretty amazing. And you have to play it dumb while being smart because it's a satire and it's physically incredibly demanding. So you have to be really good at what you do. So we're going to watch Christian Chenoweth perform in 2004 with the New York Philharmonic. Does a fantastic job. She's very funny. And you know, she's about 4'1". She's teeny tiny little thing. And to hear this voice come out of that little thing is great.
feel the dreadful, dreadful shame I
Isn't she great? I think she does such a good job. Anybody know who originated the role in the 56 version? It made her career. Miss Barbara Cook. Barbara Cook. She was the first one to sing it. All right, it's our last show, but we're going to do several songs from this show because it's one of my all-time favorites. I love it so much. South Pacific. All right, premiered in 1949. It was an immediate hit, of course. It ran for 1,925 performances. The plot is based on James A. Michener's Pulitzer Prize-winning book, Tales of the South Pacific, which he actually based off of the journals and the army logs that he had when he was stationed in the South Pacific. So it's pretty cool that he got to wrap all of that in. They bought the rights for a song because he hadn't won the Pulitzer yet. And when he was interviewed about it many years later, they said, "Are you mad that you only sold it for $1,000? He said, "Are you kidding? I would have given it to them for nothing. It was Rodgers and Hammerstein turning my book into a musical. They could have had it for nothing." So I think everybody was very happy with it. Now, Rodgers and Hammerstein in particular was very socially active, and he was very much against racism. And they knew that they could make a financially viable and successful show and send a strong progressive message on racism. But before we get to that, Bloody Mary. She sings, even when I was a little kid, probably my favorite song in the whole show. Lieutenant Cable comes, the guys have sung Bloody Mary, and she realizes that she wants him to take and marry her daughter. And she sings Bally High, which to me, even as a kid, I knew this song was something, and I love it. So here we go. Most people live on a lonely island, lost in the middle of a foggy sea. Most people long for another island, one where they know they would like to be. Bali I may call you any night, any day. In your heart you'll hear it call you. Come away, come away. Bali I will whisper on the wind of the sea. Here am I, your special island. Come to me, come to me. Your own special hopes, your own special dreams. Go on the hillside and shine in the streams. If you try, you'll find me where the sky meets the sea. Here am I, your special island. Come to me, come to me. Bali high, Bali high, Bali high. Someday you'll see me floating in the sunshine, my head sticking out from a low-flying cloud. You'll hear me call you, singing through the sunshine, sweet and clear as can be. Come to me, here am I, come to me. If you try, you'll find me where the sky meets the sea. Here am I, your special island. Come to me, come to me. Bali high, Bali high, Bali high. A great song. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In fact, the message on racism was so strong that when the touring company of the show went down to the South, the Georgia legislature sued Rodgers and Hammerstein for the song You Have to Be Carefully Taught, which of course they fought tooth and nail to keep the song in the show and succeeded. So I think that was pretty cool. Now, several of the songs have become, of course, popular standards and one of everybody's favorite, one of my favorites. I don't think I've ever told y'all this. I grew up in a family of 6 kids. My father's from South Africa, born in England. My mother's from South Africa. They came to this country. All we ever listened to was classical music and musical theater, Broadway. And so, one of 6 kids, I was a boy soprano. One guess who sang all the girl parts. That would have been me. But this song was nothing but guys, and I loved this song. So here is Nothing Like a Dame.
We got sunlight on the sand, we got moonlight on the sea, we got mangoes and bananas we can pick right off a tree. We got volleyball and ping pong and a lot of dandy games. What ain't we got? We ain't got dames. We get packages from home, we get movies, we get shows, we get speeches from our skipper and advice from Tokyo Rose. We get letters doused with perfume, we get dizzy from the smell. What don't we get? You know damn well. We got nothing to put on a clean white suit for. What we need is what there ain't no substitute for. There is nothing like a day, nothing in the world. There is nothing you can name that is anything like a day. We feel restless, we feel blue, we feel lonely and in brief.
We feel every kind of feeling,
But the feeling of relief. We feel hungry as the wolf felt when he met Red Riding Hood. What don't we feel?
we don't feel good.
Lots of things in life are beautiful, but brother, there is one particular thing that is nothing whatsoever in any way, shape, or form like any other. There is nothing like a day, nothing in the world. There is nothing you can name that is anything like a day. Nothing else is built the same, nothing in the world as a soft and wavy frame like the silhouette of a dame.
Yes, Miss Forbush?
Have you done what you promised?
Yes, Miss Forbush. I did it all last night. You don't have to open it now.
Oh! Well, you do beautiful work, Luther. Gosh, I guess I'm just about the luckiest nurse on this island to have found you. You're a treasure.
She's a nice little girl. But some of them nurses, the officers can have them.
They got him.
Well, they can have them.
So suppose a dame ain't bright, or completely free from flaws, or as faithful as a bird dog, or as kind as Santa Claus.
It's a waste of time to worry over things that they have not.
Be thankful for
The things they've got.
There is nothing you can gain that is anything like a day. There are no books like a day, and nothing looks like a day. There are no drinks like a day, and nothing thinks like a day. Nothing acts like a day, or attracts like a day. There ain't a thing that's wrong with any man here that can't be cured by putting him near a girly, womanly, female, feminine man.
Such a good song. All right, so the original production, immensely successful both critically and at the box office, becoming the second longest running Broadway show in history. Now, because he lacked military knowledge, Hammerstein had a little trouble writing the book that had to do with the military, and Joshua Logan, the Wunderkind director, who had actually been in the war, helped him with that and received very small credit because, of course, they wanted it to be a Rodgers and Hammerstein show. Later in his career, he's like, I should have insisted on what's called larger points, bigger points, which means a bigger kickback. But at the time, it was basically one of his first shows. He thought he was very lucky, and he was, in a way, getting what he got. All right, Some Enchanted Evening, the biggest song to come out of any Rodgers and Hammerstein show. All right, so who played Emile in the original Broadway production? Rossano Brazzi, Ezio Pinza, or Giorgio Tozzi? Ezio Pinza, that's right. He did the original Broadway version. Now, when it was on Broadway, you know he almost quit several times. It was his wife that convinced him to stay. He had been used to doing operas at the Met, where the opera had been the same for 200 years. And every time he came into rehearsal for South Pacific, there was a new song, there was new blocking, there was new action, there was a new scene, a new something, and he did not read music. But his wife convinced him to stay in. They put a caveat in his contract, no more than 20 minutes of singing. That was the rule. And so he stayed in the show, and of course it became his show. So here is Some Enchanted Evening, written for a bass, but I'm going to do it anyway. Some enchanted evening, you may see a stranger, you may see a stranger across a crowded room, and somehow you know, even then, that somewhere you'll see her again and again. enchanted evening. Someone may be laughing. You may hear her laughing across a crowded room. And night after night, as strange as it seems, the sound of her laughter will sing in your dreams. Who can explain it? Who can tell you why? Fools give you reasons, wise men never try. Some enchanted evening, when you find your true love, when you hear her call you across a crowded room, then fly to her side and make her your own. For all through your life you may dream alone. Once you have found her, never let her go. Once you have found her, never let her go.
Thank you. What a great piece of music. All right, so many other songs. You've got Happy Talk, You Have to Be Taught, I'm in Love with a Wonderful Guy, but I'm going to Wash That Man Right Out of My Hair is one of the most fun songs in the shows. Mary Martin originated the role on Broadway, and she said coming up with the idea to wash her hair on stage was the stupidest idea she ever had in her entire career, because she ended up washing her hair 4,000 times during the run of the show. So it ran for 1,925 performances, and she could never get the shampoo out. So she always had to wash her hair after the show, too. She said it was the dumbest thing I ever did, but I had the cleanest scalp in all of Broadway. All right, so we're going to see the version where Glenn Close played in the movie version of music. It was on TV, and I think she did a great job. Some people said she was too old for the part. Well, I don't know what that means exactly. I think she does a great job. So here we go. With the original orchestration.
There are fewer and fewer good ones, and the bad ones just get worse. Before I go any further with this thing, I just better not get started.
What is it, Nellie? What's the trouble?
No trouble. There's not going to be any trouble because I've made up my mind. It's all off. Don't look so dramatic about it. Things like this happen every day. What?
I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair. I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair. I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair and send him on his way.
Get the picture?
I'm gonna wave that man right out of my arms. I'm gonna wave that man right out of my arms. I'm gonna wave that man right out of my arms and send him on his way.
Don't try to patch it up.
Tear it up,
Wash him out, dry him out.
push him out, fly him out.
Cancel him and let him go.
Yes, sister, I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair. I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair. I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair and send him on his way.
If the man don't understand you, if you fly on separate beams, waste no time, make a change. Ride that man right off your range. Rub him out of the roll call and drum him out of your dreams.
Oh,
If you laugh at different comics, if you root for different teams, waste no time, weep no more. Show him what the door is for. Rub him out of the roll
no time. Make a switch, drop him in the nearest ditch. Drop him out of the roll call and drum him out of your dreams. Oh, 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 oh. I went and washed that man right out of my hair. I went and washed that man right out of my hair. I went and washed that man right out of my hair and sent him on his way. She went and washed that man right out of her hair. She went and washed that man right out of her hair. She went and washed that man right out of her hair and sent him on his way.
Great. I think they did a great job. Thanks. I'll let her know. All right, final number today. One of my favorite little love songs. For anybody who knows me, you know I love a love song. And this one, I really love. Younger Than Springtime. I touch your hand and my arms grow strong, like a pair of birds that burst with song. My eyes look down on your lovely face. I hold the world in my embrace. Younger than springtime are you, softer than starlight are you, warmer than winds of June are the gentle lips you gave me. Gayer than laughter are you, sweeter than music are you, angel and lover, heaven and earth are you to me. And when your youth and joy invade my arms and fill my heart, as now they do, then younger than springtime am I, gayer than laughter am I, angel and lover, heaven and earth am I with you. Before we do the big final finale, thank you so much for joining me today. I very much appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love getting to do the classics. Da, 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 da. Sweeter than music are you, angel and lover, heaven and earth are you to me. And when your youth and joy invade my arms and fill my heart as now they do, then younger than springtime am I, gayer than laughter am I, angel and lover, heaven and earth am I with you. Thank you very much. much for coming, everybody. I had a wonderful time. Thank you for being here. I will be back. I think I'm back in a couple of months. So until then, mwah, hugs and kisses from a distance. Bye, everybody. Thank you.